You don't want to hurt me. Elizabeth! No!
My family, the Frankensteins, is a noble British family. Alphonse and Caroline, my father and my mother, are well known in the city of Mandalay. They are known for being kind and courteous to all walks of life. They are the role models for many, including me, with the Frankenstein and my brother William. Despite being the mother of two outstanding sons, my mother had always wanted a daughter. She often mentioned how she wanted to pamper and shower the girl with all the goods in the world, and indeed, her wish came true. Father and mother went to Yangon for work and returned with a pleasant surprise for me. It was during that summer of 1910 when I first met Elizabeth for the first time, and I knew at that moment I laid my eyes upon her. I knew that she is the one, and I vowed that I would do all my best to protect her. We also met our friend Henry Clever, who is also our neighbor, who soon enough became my blood brother as we grew older. As I grew up, I started to get fascinated with the topics that relate to all kinds of science, and I often find myself spending my leisure time reading the works of Cornelius Agrippa, Paracelsus, Albertus Magnus, and Sir Isaac Newton. Unlike Elizabeth, my father looked down toward my fascination to those old scientists, saying how they are nothing but trash and there is no such a thing as science. However, despite this, I educated myself in various subjects with a great focus and effort. As the time passed by, my desire to achieve higher education in science led me to attend the Yangon University. However, before I leave, Elizabeth became really ill with dengue fever, and my mother nursed her back to a normal state of health. However, my dear mother caught the fever herself and did not recover.
Hi, my hope of future happiness is being ruined. Elizabeth, you must take care of our youngest child, okay?
No, mother. Please don't leave me, mother. Victor, please calm down. What's meant to be is meant to be. You have to let her go.
I'm content of the choice to study at this university, for I have met professors who share the same interests as me. One of which was Mr. Cribb, who in my greatest gratitude introduced me to natural philosophy.
Have you really spent your time studying such nonsense?
Every second and minute.
Every instant that you have wasted on this book is utterly and entirely lost. You have burdened your memory with exploded systems and useless names. Good God! In what desert land have you lived, where no one was kind enough to inform you that these fancy which you have so greatly employed are 1,000-year-old and musty as they are ancient? I didn't expect that in this enlightened and scientific age to find and disable of Abaddus Magnus and Paracelsus. My dear sir, you must begin your study entirely anew.
In my chemistry class, I met a professor, Mr. Walton, which directed me to science. Fascinated, I started to learn those subjects. From this day, natural philosophy and particularly chemistry in the most comprehensive sense of the term became nearly my sole occupation. I read those works with ardor, so full of genius and discrimination, which modern inquirers have written on these subjects. I attended the lecture and cultivated the acquaintance of the men in the science department of the university. I want to save people of my creation and don't want anyone to feel sad for losing their beloved, like the way I did. Life and death is what overwhelmed me the most. I am motivated to control it, which led me to ignore and neglect my family and my friends. Fascinated by the mystery of the creation of life, I began to study how the human body is built and how it falls apart. After several years of tireless work, I mastered all the lessons that my professor taught me, and I went one step further to the discovery of the secret of life, to create a perfect human being. Privately hidden away in my apartment, where no one could see me walk, I decided to begin the construction of an animated creature, envisioning that creation of a new race of wonderful beings. Zealously devoting myself to this labor, I neglected everything else: friends, family, studies, and social life, and grew increasingly pale, lonely, and obsessed. One stormy night, after months of labor, I completed my creation. The rain poured dismally against the panes, and my candle was nearly burnt out. While by the glimmer of half-extinguished light, I saw the dull yellow eye of the creature open. It breathed hard, and a convulsive motion agitated its limbs. However, unable to endure the aspect of the being I have created, I rushed out of the mall to seek a few moments of forgiveness. After long tired days of research and walking only, I decided to take a walk. On the way, I met my childhood best friend.
Frankenstein? Oh, my dear Frankenstein, how glad I am to see you. How fortunate that you should be at the very moment of my lightning.
I got a nervous fever that lasted several months. Because of the horrific things I saw, Hilary took good care of me for a month. While I was on the bed, Elizabeth sent me letters every single day, but I can't reply those because my illness is serious and I can't even move. When I finally recovered, Hilary gave me a letter. I thought it was from Elizabeth, but it was from my father that arrived while I was ill.
My dearest Venom, I only wish to write only a few lines, conveying you with good news, yet I can only bring you the horrible tidings. William, your beloved little brother, is dead, the sweet child, whose smile was delight and warmed my heart, who was so gentle yet so gay. The stars lay at my knees and your two little brothers went to walk in the forest nearby. The evening was so warm and sunny. It was already dusk before we all returned. Annas came running, saying that he could not find William anywhere. Thus we became to search for him everywhere, at home, in the forest, and places nearby. About 5 in the morning, I discovered my lovely boy stretched on the grass, livid and motionless. The print of Mara's fingers was on his neck.
Why is that filthy demon who I have given life to here? Nothing in human shape could have destroyed the fair child. He was the murderer. I could not doubt it.
Welcome, my dearest little. I wish you had come 2 months ago, and then you would have found us all joyous and delight. Yet, my dear son, come to us now to share a misery which nothing can alleviate. Yet, your present will, I hope, revive your Elizabeth, who is tormenting herself with self-accusations. She most of all requires a consolation, my son. She accuses herself of having caused the death of my William, and that made her very rushed. But since the murder has been discovered,
The mother discovered? Good God, how could that be? Who could attempt to pursue him? It is impossible to catch one of that measure. I saw him too. He was free last night.
I do not know what you mean, my son, but to us the discovery has made complete our misery. No one will believe it at first. Even now, Elizabeth will not be convinced, notwithstanding other evidence. Indeed, who will credit the Justin Morris, who was so admirable and fond of the family, could suddenly become so capable of so frightful, so appalling a crime?
Justin Morris, poor girl. It is the accused, but it is wrongfully. No one believe it. Surely, father.
No one did at first, my son, but several circumstances came up. Her behavior was very confusing, and the necklace with your mother's picture, which dear William posted before his tragic passing, was found in her pocket.
My dear father, you are mistaken. I know the murderer, Justin. Poor, good Justin is innocent.
If she is, God forbid that she should suffer as guilty. She is to retire today, and I sincerely hope that she will be acquitted.
Justin will be proven innocent. Indeed, every human being was guiltless of this murder.
Your arrival, my dear cousin, fill me with hopes. You perhaps will find some means to justify my poor guiltless deeds. I rely on the innocent as certainly as I do upon my own. She is condemned. I never shall know joy more. But she will not. I am sure she will not. And then I shall be happy again, even after the sad death of my little William.
She is innocent, my Elizabeth, and that shall be proved. Fear nothing, but let your spirit be cheered by the assurance of her acquittal.
How kind and generous you are, especially when everyone believes in my guilt. God knows how entirely I am innocent. I also know how heavily and fatally this one circumstance weighed against me, and I have no power of explaining it. I've committed my cause to the gestures of my judges, yet I see no room for hope. I beg permission to have a few witnesses examine concern to my character, and if the testimony shall not overweigh my supposed guilt, I must be condemned, although I will place my salvation on my innocence. I am the cousin of the child who was murdered, or rather his sister, for I was educated by and have lived with his parent ever since and even long before his birth. I am well acquainted with this accused. I have lived in the same house with her, at one time for 5 and another for nearly 2 years. During all that period, she appeared to me the most amicable and benevolent of human creatures. She nursed Madame Frankenstein and her own mother with the greatest affection and care in their last illness. She was warmly attached to the child who is now dead and acted toward him like the most affectionate mother. For my own part, I do not hesitate to say that, notwithstanding all the evidence produced against her, I believe and rely on her perfect innocence.
Should I tell the truth? But if I did, no one would believe me. They would perceive me as insane. However, the damn will kill my beloved brother, but they still won't believe.
My cousin, she has confessed.
How shall I ever again believe in human goodness? I will go and meet her, although she is guilty, and you, Victor, shall accompany me. Oh, Justine, why did you rob me of my last consolations? I rely on your innocence, and although I was very wretched, I was not miserable as I am now. Do you believe that I am wicked? I did confess, yes, but I confessed a lie. I was threatened and menaced by my confessor. Therefore, I have no choice. What could I have done? In an evil hour, I have subscribed a lie, and now am I truly miserable? Dear William, dearest blessed child, I soon shall see you again in heaven, where we shall all be happy, and that consoles me. Now, I feel as I could die in peace, now that my innocence has been acknowledged by you, my lady, and your cousin.
Wandering spirit, if indeed you wander and do not rest in your narrow bounds, allow me this fake happiness, or take me as your companion away from this joys of life. Devil, do you approach me, and do not you fear the fierce vengeance of my iron work on your miserable be gone, vile insect, and rather cease that I must trample you to dust. Oh, that I could with extension of your miserable existence restore those victims who you have so diabolically murdered.
Be calm. I entreated you to hear me before you give vent to my hatred on my devoted head. Have I not suffered enough that you seek to increase my misery? Everywhere I see bliss, from which I alone am irrevocably excluded. I was benevolent and good. Misery made me a fan. You, my creator, abhor me. Your fellow creatures spurn and hate me, and if they knew of my existence, they would do as you do, and arm themselves for my destruction. Shall I not then hate them who abhor me. I will keep no terms with my enemies. I am miserable, thus you shall feel my rashness. Yet it is in your power to recompense me and deliver them from an evil, which it only remains for you to make me great. Thou, not only you and your family, but thousands of others shall be swallowed up by the whirlwinds of rage. Make me happy, and I shall again be virtuous. Listen to me, Frankenstein. Listen to my tale.
It is with considerable difficulty that I remember the original era of my being. All the events of that period appear confused and indistinct. Light and darkness had no difference as I shut my eyes to both. And it was indeed a long time before I learned to distinguish between the operations of my various senses. One day, when I was oppressed by the cold, I found a fire and was overcome with delight at the warmth. Later, I learned the workings of the fire and how it can improve the taste of nuts and roots.
I escaped from various attacks and took refuge in a low hovel. Looking through a small chink, I beheld a young girl, a young man, and a blind old man. After observing them for quite a while, I wondered the cause for their unhappiness. It was poverty. Wanting to assist in their labors, I collected wood for them every night. This action seemed to surprise them with pleasure. I spent the winter in this manner. When they were unhappy, I felt depressed. When they rejoiced, I sympathized in their joys. I tried to learn the ways of their communication, but I was not successful in this endeavor, as I only learned the names of some familiar objects. I longed to interact with the cottagers who would be the arbiters of my future destinies. One day, a lady arrived, and it marked the beginning of my downfall.
Felix!
Oh, I see here.
我回到你身边了。
My name is Felix.
My name is Steffi.
My name is My name is.
Slowly, I conquered the language of mankind. In the process, I also learned the history of my friends. A few months before my arrival, they had lived in a large and luxurious city called New Delhi. The old man's name was De Lacy, and he descended from a noble English family in the British India. Agatha too had ranked with the ladies of the highest distinction. The father of Sephi had been the curse for their ruin.
这块布多少钱？
Sorry, sir, I don't understand, sir.
爸，我们去寻找翻译吧。
Your Honor, this is treachery in the highest form. Spying on Her Majesty's greatest colonies and working for our greatest enemy, China. We have to make an example out of this man to prevent future occurrence.
我不是叛徒，我只是来自中国的交易员，放我走。
Put him in jail.
As sad as this looks, the lawyer was not wrong. He just caught the wrong person. Sephi and Felix helped the father escape. 3 of them sneaked out of the jail without getting caught.
Go to Kolkata. Wait for me. I have my close friend there. They will take care of you. Go by my angel. We part for now.
Legit.
Frankenstein 哪里吗？
他和他的家人常常被撞富抓获，没想到他会帮助别人。
什么？
This book brought enlightenment upon me. Like Adam, I apparently untied by no link to any other being in existence. But he had come forth from the hands of God, a perfect creature, happy and prosperous, guarded by the especial care of his Creator. Many times I considered Satan as a fitter emblem of my condition, for often like him, when I viewed the bliss of my protectors, the bitter gall of envy rose within me. Several changes in the meantime took place in the cottage. The presence of Sephi diffused happiness among its inhabitants. I too turned with more attention towards the cottagers. The more I saw of them, the greater my heart yearned to be known and loved by these amiable creatures.
Papa, let's go on a walk today. It's a fine day.
Let this old man peacefully view the weather on his chair from afar. You kids go have fun.
My heart beat quick. This was the hour and moment of trial, which would decide my hopes or realize my fears.
Who is here? Come in.
Pardon this intrusion. I'm a traveler in one of a little dress. You would greatly oblige me if you would allow me to remain a few minutes before the fire.
I was trying to relieve your wants, but unfortunately, my children are from home, and as I am blind, I am afraid I shall find it difficult to procure food for you.
Do not trouble yourself. I have food. It is warmth and company that I crave.
So, introduce yourself, traveler.
I am an unfortunate and deserted creature. These admirable people to whom I go have never seen me and know little of me. They are the most excellent creatures in the world, but unfortunately, they are prejudiced against me by my despicable appearance.
This is indeed unfortunate, but if you are really blameless, cannot you undeceive them? Where do these friends reside?
Near this spot.
May I know the names and residence of those friends?
You and your family are the friends for my sake. Do not desert me in the hour of trial.
Oh, what's up?
I had certainly acted imprudently. I ought to have familiarized the old Delacey to me, and by degrees, to have discovered myself to the rest of his family. One day should have been prepared for my approach.
Do you consider that you will be obliged to pay 3 months rent and to lose the produce of your garden? I do not wish to take any unfair advantage, and I beg therefore that you will take 7 days to consider of your determination.
It's utterly useless. We are never going to inhabit your cottage. The life of my father is in greatest danger, owing to the dreadful circumstance that I have related. My wife, my sister, will never recover from their horror. I entreated you not to reason with me anymore. Take possession of your tenement and let me fly from this place.
And now, with the world before me, whither should I bend my steps? Hated and despised, every country must be equally horrible, and so, whither should I bend my steps?
You hideous monster! Stay away from my child!
This was the reward of my benevolence. I had saved a human being from destruction, and as recompense, I now writhed under the miserable pain. This little creature is unprejudiced and had lived too short a time to have inhibited a horror of deformity. If therefore I could seize him and educate him, I should not be so desolate in this peopled art. I would finally have a friend. Child, what is the meaning of this? I do not intend to hurt you. Listen to me.
Let me go, monster, you ugly wretch. And you wish to eat me and tear me to pieces. You are an orc. Let me go or I'll tell my father.
Boy, you will never see your father again. You must come with me.
Hideous monster, let me go. My papa is Cindy. He is Mr. Frankenstein. He will punish you. You dare not keep me.
Frankenstein, you then belong to my enemy, to whom I have sworn eternal revenge. You shall be my first victim. I too can create desolation. My enemy is not invulnerable. This death will carry despair to him, and 1,000 other miseries shall torment and destroy him. This is a portrait of a most beautiful woman. but I shall forever be deprived of such beautiful beings. Awake, fairest, thy lover is near. He who would give his life, but to obtain one look of affection from thine eyes. My beloved, awake! Should she indeed awake and see me and curse me and denounce the murderer, thus would she assuredly act if her darkened eyes opened and she beheld me. Not I, but she shall suffer the murder I have committed, because I am forever robbed of all that she could give me. She shall atone.
The creature finished his tale, and cast a look of expectancy, eagerly waiting for my reply. However, I was bewildered, perplexed, sufficiently to answer his proposition.
Pardon, what can I do to satisfy you?
A friend.
A friend?
I want you to create me a companion, a female. My companion must be of the same species and have the same defects.
Like you? Oh God, you don't know what you are asking.
You must create a female for me, with whom I can live with, in the interchange of those sympathies necessary for my being. This you alone can do, and I demand it of you as a right, which you must not refuse to concede.
I do refuse it. You won't get a consent from me. Shall I create another like yourself? Whose joint wickedness might consolate the war? Be gone!
You are in the wrong. If you consent, my bride and I will go to the vast wilds of Hakabo Razi. No human eye will ever see us again. This I vow. If you still will not give me your consent, and if you cannot satisfy the likes of me, I will not apologize when I demonically destroy you and your loved ones. The other choice is yours. We may not part until you have promised to comply with my requisition. You are the one who set this in motion, Frankenstein.
Fine, I shall listen to your request. I want this over and done with.
Soon?
Yes.
I'll be waiting and watching.
Love! Victor! Victor, I thought I will never see you again.
I'm alright, love. I'm safe.
What sort of text?
It is not something I can explain right now. Perhaps someday.
What of our marriage, Victor? We have so much tragedy. I want this family to live again.
So do I.
We need each other now. I need your comfort and strength, not separation and solitude.
I demand at most. That's all I ask. Elizabeth, please. Things have not yet resolved. I must take care to see what they do. For our family's sake, for our sake. You are life itself. We shall see our fall the moment I am dead.
we go?
Michelle.
Don't bother asking what or why. You wouldn't tell me anyway. I just hope that you know what you're doing. Because if there's a repeat of English that I won't be around there to pick up the pieces.
I want her.
Why her?
Materials, remember? Nothing else. Your what?
No, I draw the line.
You shall honor your promise to me now.
No, I will not. Kill me now.
This is mild compared to what will come. If you deny me my wedding night, I will be with you on yours.
Elizabeth! No, not today. Not next week. Marry me today.
Why the change? What about your walk?
It was misguided and pointless. Is your answer yes?
It is. It has always been.
We'll leave it after now. Right after the ceremony. Pack only what you need.
Does this have something to do with the man you saw?
Yes, we are in danger. Every moment we stay.
Victor, tell me why. Trust me.
I do. But trust me for now.
We gather now in the sight of God to witness this man and woman bond their lives through matrimonial vow.
Brother and sister no more.
Husband and wife.
What is it that agitates you, my dear Victor? What is it you fear?
Nothing, my dear. It's been a long day. Why did you retire fast?
I'll wait for you.
Thank you, my dear. I don't know what I did to deserve you. Love, do not open the door for no one. Understand? I'll see you soon.
You don't want to hurt me.
I keep my promise.
Why you? You monster!
It has been a few days since the death of my wife. Since then, Father's eye has become vacant. A few days later, he also passed away. I swear, and by thee, O night, and the spirit that preside over thee, to Basu, the demon who caused this misery, and he or I share part in their modern conflict.
Oh, look, someone has collapsed.
He seems to be exhausted. Quick, get him some water.
We will not allow you to perish in these ruins. Follow us back to our base.
Before I come along, will you have the kindness to inform me whether you are bound?
Oh, we are on a journey of discovery toward the ancient city of Bedanor.
He has high fever.
Oh, for what purpose have you traveled this far?
To see one who flees from me. I have doubtless excited your curiosity as well as that of these good people, but you are too considerate to make inquiries.
It would indeed be very impertinent and inhuman in me to trouble you with such inquisitiveness of mind.
And yet, you excuse me for a strange and perilous situation. You have benevolently restored me to life. You may easily perceive for a time that I have suffered great and unparalleled misfortune. I have determined at one time that the memory of these evils should die with me, but you have warned me to alter my determination. You ask for knowledge and wisdom, as I once did, and I ardently hope the gratification of your wishes may not be as serpent to stare you as mine has been. I imagine that you may choose a pet moral from my tale, one that may direct you if you succeed in your understanding and console you in case of failure. Prepare to hear if occurrences which are usually deemed marvelously. I thank you for your sympathy, but it is useless. My fate is nearly through. I wait but for one event, and then I shall repose in peace. I understand your feeling, but you are mistaken, my friend. If thus you will allow me to name you, nothing can alter my destiny. Listen to my history, and you will perceive how irrevocably it is determined. Would you also create for yourself under war a methodical enemy? Peace, peace, end my misery, and do not seek to increase your own.
Oh, his fever is returning. It's higher than ever.
At last, the strength I rely on is gone. I feel that I shall soon die and heal my enemy and persecutor may still be in being. The dust of his destruction was mine, and I have failed. One, actually by selfish and vicious motive, I ask you to undertake my unfinished work. Farewell, Wilton. Seek happiness in tranquility and avoid ambition, even if it can only be apparently innocent. One of the distinguishing yourself in science and discovery.
You have read this strange and terrific story, Margaret, and do you not feel your blood congeal with horror, like that which even now curdles mine? Sometimes, seized with sudden agony, he could not continue his tale. Sometimes, he commanded his countenance and tones, and related the most horrible incidents with a tranquil voice, suppressing every mark of agitation. His tale is connected and told with the appearance of the simplest truth, yet I own to you the letters of Felix and Sophie, which he showed me, and the apparition of monsters seen from our ship, brought me a greater conviction of truth of his narration than his asseverations. However earnest and contented such a monster has then really existence, I cannot doubt it, yet I'm lost in surprise and admiration. Sometimes I endeavored to gain from Frankenstein the particulars of his creature's formation, but on this point he was impenetrable. Maybe, just maybe, you, my dear sister, will find out. I write to you to inform that I'm coming back to England, back to home. Truth to be told, I entertained the idea that ending this expedition to Baitano was a mutiny. However, I recall my dear friend Frankenstein once asked, "Are you mad, my friend?" said he, "or whither does his senseless curiosity lead you? Would you create for yourself the underworld a demoniacal enemy? Peace, peace. Learn my miseries and do not seek increase your own." And with much dilemma, I'm returning to England. I've lost my hopes of utility and glory. I've lost my friend Frankenstein, but I will endeavor to detail these bitter circumstances to you, my dear sister, and while I am wafted towards England and towards you, I will not despond.
Dear brother, you have arrived home. How much I missed you. I miss teasing you, that is.
As playful as always, aren't you?
Give me your bag, brother. You just came back from a tiring trip. Let me help you.
What are you up to, my little sister? You are acting way too nice. Let me guess. Are you looking for a present, perhaps like specimens?
How did you know?
I do indeed know that my little sister loves science. The specimens are in the bed. You can take it yourself. I have to rest. I'm going back to my room.
Thank you so much.
But let me remind you, being passionate is good. But at times, if it's too extreme, it can go wrong. And for instance, when it comes to defying nature, it can lead to their downfall. So just be careful.
Yes, brother, I'll keep that in mind. Have a nice rest.
This seems intriguing. I wonder what this journal is about. Oh, isn't it a science his brother keeps on mentioning in his letters? This is getting more interesting. Marvelous! This Victor, he is pure genius. Amazing. I might just have figured out what to do today.